I'm Daniela and I'm originally from Germany. I came to Adelaide nearly 9 years ago and I work as a psychologist and I'm married with 4 kids. And I've lived in Adelaide for nearly 9 years and we moved from Westbourne Park to Millswood 4 years ago. So I've been an Unley resident for 4 years. From the start, this place, the Unley swimming pool, has been my favorite place and a place to keep me happy and sane. I'm basically part of the furniture here. I come here several times per week. I bring my kids here for swimming lessons as well. I do lap swimming. I sometimes just come for a coffee because they do good coffee, and it's just a place for me where I can just do my thing and have some time to myself, exercise, and it's everything that I love about Australia, swimming outdoors in beautiful weather, 9 months around the year. That's just paradise for me. I love it. About 8 or nearly 9 years ago, I was studying psychology. I was in my last year of my bachelor and I had a semester break and decided to come here and visit people. And one evening I found myself talking to some locals, and there was one particular local and phone numbers were exchanged, and then beach walks were had and dinners, and long story short, a few months later we were engaged. And later in the year I packed up my life in Germany and came here. Very soon I discovered there are villages around here with German names and German heritage, and I found out about the Barossa Germans and that a lot of German settlers came here in the 1800s, and that's interesting. And it's a shame that not many schools keep German as a language. They're switching to different languages these days, but you can definitely see a lot of German last names. And well, Handorf is Handorf. Handorf is a thing of its own. I first moved into my husband's house that he had that was one council over in Mitcham in Westbourne Park, but I discovered this pool early on. Like in my first summer of being here, I discovered this pool and it was my favorite place. And when we started looking for a bigger house, we looked here specifically because we thought this area has everything we want. It has great public transport, good schools, the pool. It's close to the beach, close to the city. And we were lucky that we found a really lovely house in Millswood. Unley Pool is something very special for me being from Germany, because we do have outdoor pools, but they are only open for a very short summer season. And then the rest of the year you have to be in small little indoor pools, and it's very busy. This is just paradise. When I first met my stepkids, they were 5 and 9. One of the first things I did was put them in swimming lessons because they hadn't had any formal swimming lessons. I said, "Now, we have a pool at home. They need to learn to swim properly." And I got them all to a level where they're really confident swimmers. And now my 6-year-old is swimming and he's like a little fish. And the little one, she hates the shower, she hates the bath, but she loves the pool. There's a great community around Unley Pool, and I love that it's really from all walks of life, from all generations. I'm friends with people younger, older, my parents' age, my grandparents' age almost, and it's lovely. I've definitely cultivated some of the Australian things more than I realized when I went back last year for the first time in 4 years. I noticed how Australian I have actually become, and some Germans were quite irritated because Australians love to strike up a friendly little chit-chat wherever you are, in the shops or here. You can always have a nice friendly conversations, and in Germany people are like, "What is your question?
Get to the point.
Get to the point. I don't have time forever. What do you want, woman?" So I was like, within 5 minutes of being on German soil, I was reminded, that's one of the things that I found quite stressful about Germany and German mentality, and that I enjoy about here.
Yes.
Funny question whether I assimilate into Australia, because in a way I don't. There are certain things that I'm very vehemently defending about me being German and European culture. I think it's a little bit like a buffet. Both Australia and Germany have a lot to offer in their cultures, and I just try to pick my perfect Australian German plate. There are certain things that I love, there are certain things that I'm not a big fan of from both, so I cherish things from both cultures really. What I like about Australia is that people are very friendly in everyday life, and that is something that I found difficult in Germany, that people are quite grumpy a lot of the time and they let you know. At the same time, that's something that I love about and appreciate about Germans, that you know where you're at with them. We're very blunt, very open, don't beat around the bush, and we take things quite literally, which makes for some interesting misunderstandings sometimes, because I sometimes don't get the Australian humour, because I take everything word by word. I let people know in my work profile that I am German. It's only fair to warn them.
You think they need a warning?
Yeah, I think they need to know that they're dealing with a foreigner, with someone with a different background, and it's right for some and not for some others. I think it's important to keep culture and different cultures alive, because it's a huge part of your identity, of your mentality. You can understand people much better when you understand their cultural background and consider that. And as I said, coming back to the idea of the buffet, that different cultures have different great things to offer, and you can learn and be inspired by different cultures and different ways and alternative ways. I belong into Australia more and more. It's been more difficult than I thought. It's more different than I thought. But it's a process. At the moment, I would say I'm like halfway in between. I'm with one foot still in Germany and with the other foot in Australia. Sometimes leaning more this way, sometimes leaning more that way. Okay, I've brought today my Aldi trolley bags. I've brought them because they are a perfect blend of Australian and German efficiency, because Aldi is just the best representation of German efficiency. I don't like Australian supermarkets, I'm sorry. I want to go in, know where everything is. I don't need 50 things of one kind. I need 3 things that are good, and then these are just an absolute game changer, because this is just so efficient. You go in, out, and you're done. I think it's important to keep culture and different cultures alive, because it's a huge part of your identity, of your mentality. You can understand people much better when you understand their cultural background and consider that. I would say that Unley is multicultural. You hear different languages when you walk around. You see different fashions, different color skin. You see different restaurants, flavors. What I find important is that everyone respects each other, which should be common sense. As an immigrant, I think it's important to respect my host culture, and I think it's important to welcome people and embrace the things you have in common, and you can learn from each other.